But your point, of which really got me about you, is that you said you were on a 0 hours contract, and so you had 3 hours in 4 months. Personally, if that was me, right, and if I had a job and they gave me 1 hour in 2 weeks, I'd go and find another job and tell them to shut up.
I would have got...
And that, to me, is just a really, really bad excuse. Oh, I had 3 hours work in 4 months. To me,
I
you're
was
saying...
still looking throughout that entire period.
Okay.
No offers.
If you were, but you said you felt like you couldn't go and get another job, and now you're saying that you were trying to get another job.
I was trying. I still didn't feel comfortable doing it.
Well, that's your problem then, because you should have gone. But you should have gone and got another job. If someone gives you... I'm employing all the time. My business is growing all the time.
Yeah, lady here, please, in the hooped up. Let's get a mic to her, please.
You can't just so easily say you should have been looking for a job, so why didn't you have a job? It's not that easy for people. You might have your job now. Well done for you to be an entrepreneur. Not all of us are like that. Not all of us are that easy, even if we have degrees.
It wasn't easy for me.
But it's not easy for me. It's not easy for us.
I get that. I get it wasn't easy. I've been there, but I chose not to go to uni, obviously. I chose to start working. I dropped out of my A-levels, and I chose to start working. And it wasn't always easy. I haven't always been driving around in a nice car. I've been worrying about what to eat. I'm down to my last 2 quid in my bank account.
Oh, you should have been looking for a job. You have no right to do that.
I wouldn't, but he is saying that he didn't feel comfortable in trying to look for another job when he had 3 hours work in 4 months. I mean, hello?
Toby.
I was just going to make the point that, of course, any level of youth unemployment is unacceptable. All young people who want work should be able to get work. But I think you can't take this government's record on youth unemployment away. They inherited over almost 1 million level of youth unemployment when they got into government, up from 670,000 at the beginning. So they were left with this terrible legacy by the last government, and that's now come down to just over 500,000. So they have achieved quite a lot. Of course, there's further to go, but you can't take what they've achieved away.
They're on the precipice. They're on the precipice right now of making thousands of young people homeless who don't deserve it, who didn't have the choice to influence the decisions earlier on by the bankers causing this crisis, and pensioners are still allowed things like freedom passes, better pensions, things like this, which are just being kept and safeguarded, while I'm on the precipice of losing my place to sleep. I have mental health issues, and yet I'm being told that I might not have a place to sleep in a couple of months. How is that right? How is that right? That should happen, yet someone is... yet you're happy to give a pensioner loads of money to run their fuel bill.
I think actually let's bring up another issue which you've touched on, which is housing. One of the biggest issues which has risen up the electoral agenda, thankfully, is the lack of housing. We've had decades of governments failing to build enough houses. Now we have 2 options being done. Labour is proposing rent controls, which one Swedish economist said is the quickest way to destroy a city other than bombing, because all it does is reduce prices, and therefore people don't want to build houses. So that would be disastrous. The Tories, unfortunately, have introduced this idea, which politically is quite sensible, of helping young people to buy houses, but actually in the long term isn't a sensible thing, because all it's going to do is pump up prices. The one thing we've got to do, we've got to find... I'm sick of all the tribalism in politics. We know there's a housing crisis. We know the solution. We have too few houses. We're not building enough houses. Both Labour and Tory and the coalition have not built enough houses for decades. We've got to resolve that, and we need to find a way to build hundreds of thousands of new houses a year, and that's the only way we're going to solve a lot of the issues which people face.
OK, I'm going to take some online comments now.
Yeah, it's getting pretty lively online as well. Mark has an idea. Why not let people retire earlier and have the choice of your rubbish 0-hour contracts and give young people opportunities? Win-win. This one from Leo. Tories think pensions matter more because the majority of their viewers, I think they mean voters, are old than are young, so the Tories are going after the grey vote because they vote in larger numbers. And these questions come in, a few that are along this theme, actually, asking Oba, why isn't David Cameron sitting in that chair?
Well, I'm a government minister. I speak on behalf of David Cameron and the government day in and day out. This programme is no exception, and David Cameron personally asked me to come on here today. He does value what we're discussing here. But can I finish my sentence? But He's the leader of our party. He's going to be leading the campaign for the general election. He's also Prime Minister, and he's in a very different position to Ed Miliband, who was here in terms of his diary. But he personally asked
But
me to
why?
come
That gives out the message that gives to young people is that he doesn't care about them.
I wouldn't say. I would say if you want to know whether he cares about young people, look at what we are doing in terms of jobs. Look at it's the action. Look at it. Look at the actions of the government. And as far as young people are concerned, there is a lot of action that will give young people a secure and better future under this government.